So, what if I told you that everything you think you know about building confidence is, well, completely backwards? What if waiting to feel confident is the very thing that's been holding you back this whole time? We're about to dive into a really powerful idea that just might flip the entire script on how you go after your goals. You know the feeling, right? There's that big project you need to start, that important conversation you need to have, or maybe that very first step toward a dream you've had forever. You know you should do it, but there's always that little voice that whispers, not yet. I'm not ready.
And it's not just about being ready. We do the same thing with courage. We wait for this magical wave of bravery to wash over us before we finally make that call, or launch that side hustle, or just speak up in a meeting. We're waiting for a feeling that, let's be honest, almost never shows up on command.
And here's the scary part. This waiting game isn't free. It has a huge cost. It eats up our most valuable, non-renewable resource, time. All that hesitation, it stacks up. It turns months into years, and before you know it, you're looking back on a decade of missed chances.
This right here, this is what we call the confidence trap. It's this sneaky belief that we have to feel a certain way before we can act a certain way. And it sounds logical, right? But it's actually a deeply flawed idea. It's a game you're literally set up to lose from the start.
So, if that's the trap, how do we get out of it? Well, we flip the whole model upside down. We use something called the action-first principle. This is the simple, counterintuitive truth about where real, lasting confidence actually comes from.
Okay, this is the core idea, so let it sink in. Confidence isn't the ticket you need to get on the ride. It's the prize you get for having been on it. You don't need it to start. You build it by starting. It's a result, not a requirement.
Think about it like this. A runner doesn't just stand at the starting line hoping to magically feel warm. No way. The act of running, that very first slow jog, is what creates the warmth. And confidence? It works the exact same way. The action generates the feeling, not the other way around.
Now, to really wrap our heads around this, let's borrow a concept from a place you probably weren't expecting: quantum physics. It's an amazing metaphor for understanding the power you hold in any given moment. Let's talk about your quantum self.
So, in the quantum world, there's this wild idea that a tiny particle can exist in multiple states all at once. It's called superposition. And here's the thing. Just like that particle, you are also in a state of superposition every single second of every day.
What does that actually mean for you? It means that right now, at this very moment, inside of you coexists a brave you and an afraid you, a confident you and an insecure you, a disciplined you and a lazy you. All of these versions of you are 100% real, totally present, and totally possible.
So, if all these different versions of you are there, just waiting, which one becomes real? Which one takes over? It's the one you act from. Your action is the force that takes all those possibilities and collapses them into one single reality. Your action makes one of those identities real.
Okay, so that's the big idea. It sounds pretty cool, right? But how do we actually use this in real life? Let's get super practical. Here is a simple but shockingly effective tool you can start using today to activate the identity you actually want. It's called the 3-second rule. The moment you have an instinct to act on a goal, you have to physically move within 3 seconds. Why 3? Because if you wait any longer, your brain's emergency brake kicks in. It's designed for safety, and it will talk you out of it. That little 3-second window, that's your shot to choose growth over comfort.
And look, these actions do not have to be huge, life-altering events. In fact, starting small is way better. Every tiny little action is like casting a vote for a more confident you. It's collecting evidence. I promise, your confidence will grow so much faster from taking 10 tiny steps than from planning one giant leap you never actually take.
All right, so the 3-second rule is your secret weapon for those in-the-moment decisions. Now let's look at a more deliberate way to consciously choose and build the identity you want over the long haul. This is how you literally learn to create confidence on demand.
Here's that mindset shift in a nutshell. The old way is totally passive, right? You wait for a feeling, and you just hope an identity eventually follows. But the new way, it's active. You create with action, your action defines your identity, and then, as a result, the emotion of confidence shows up.
This brings us to the identity reversal method, and it's just 3 powerful steps.
First, decide on the identity you want to strengthen. Let's say the confident me. Second, you ask yourself a simple question. What would the confident me do right now in this situation? And third, and this is everything, you do that thing. Even if your hands are shaking, you just do it.
And when that fear and that doubt show up, and believe me, they will, you have to remember this. Those feelings, they're just signals from your past. They're echoes based on old experiences. They are not, and I repeat, not predictions of your future. They have no clue what you're capable of now. Don't let old data limit your new potential.
The truth is, you aren't one single fixed thing. You're a whole collection of possibilities. And every action you take is a choice. It's an activation of one of those possibilities. So the question is no longer, do I feel confident? The real question, the only question that matters is, who will you choose to activate next?